Hello, thank you for joining with me. We are in A Course in Miracles, Lesson 264. I am surrounded by the love of God. This is A Course in Miracles, Workbook for Students, Part 2 of the workbook. We are in Section 5 of Part 2, What is the Body? And this is Lesson 264. I am surrounded by the love of God. Father, you stand before me and behind me, beside me, in the place I see myself, and everywhere I go. You are in all the things I look upon, the sounds I hear, and every hand that reaches for my own. In you, time disappears, and place becomes a meaningless belief. For what surrounds your Son and keeps him safe is love itself. There is no source but this, and nothing is that does not share its holiness, that stands beyond your one creation, or without the love which holds all things within itself. Father, your Son is like yourself. We come to you in your own name today, to be at peace within your everlasting love. My brothers, join with me in this today. This is salvation's prayer. Must we not join in what will save the world along with us? Lesson 264. I am surrounded by the love of God. I will now read the commentary by Alan Watson and Robert Perry. Okay, this is one of my favorite prayers. I recommend praying it over and over. Give each line your full awareness. Make it a personal communication from you to God. To aid in this process, you might want to insert specific comments I've indicated in brackets below. And I'll go ahead and read that leading into the meditation. For now, I'm going to read Alan Watson's commentary. The bulk of today's lesson is a beautiful prayer, and my suggestion to us all is that we take the time not only to read it, but to read it aloud, with all the expression of which we are capable. Jesus says, "My brothers, join with me in this today. This is salvation's prayer." Will you do that? Perhaps we might pause at noon, each in our time zone, and as we do, realize that others are joining us that very moment to pray this same prayer together. And Jesus joins with us all every time we repeat it. Let all the world be blessed with peace through us. If you can't pause at noon, pause on another hour. Someone somewhere will be joining with you. Imagine the effect you have on yourself at least once an hour, and more often if possible, if you simply pause for a moment and silently repeat to yourself with conviction, "I am surrounded by the love of God." Love is your safety, says the What is the Body section. The purpose of these 10 lessons is to focus our attention on love, which is invisible, rather than on the body, which is visible. A passage in the text I happen to be reading today goes right along. When you made visible what is not true, what is true became invisible to you. It is invisible to you because you are looking at something else. And we just read that in the Course Companions reading, Chapter 12, Section 8. What is not seen is not therefore gone. Love is still in my mind because God placed it there. Love is still in everything, all around me, and I will see it if I will but stop looking at something else. Jesus says that if we look at love enough, what is not there will become invisible to us. That process is the shift the Course is talking about. As we learn to stop wanting to see something other than love, we will stop seeing anything but love. that outcome is inevitable because love is all there is. We want to see separation, we want to see bodies because we think somehow that keeps us safe. It preserves our individuality. Our real safety, however, lies in love. Our real safety lies in realizing that we are part of that ocean of love, never ending. Body, ego, and individual consciousness are not what need to be preserved and adhered to. Rather, we need to adhere to universal consciousness and to playing our part as a synapse in that universal mind, with no purpose that ends in this little cell of self, but only a purpose that serves the whole. The way to experience love is to give it. For if love is sharing, how can you find it except through itself? Let me today open my heart to love the world. Let me know that this is my function. As I open to let love out, love will flood in. It always flows both ways. And what I am loving is myself, not a separate thing or things. I am not simply a cell. I only exist in relationship to the universe. The whole is in every part. Everything is related to everything else, and only the whole has meaning. I am surrounded by the love of God. And now I will read Robert Perry's prayer suggestion that will lead us into meditation. I am surrounded by the love of God. Father, you stand before me and behind, beside me, on my right and on my left, in the place I see myself wherever I am at this moment and everywhere that I go. You are in all the things I look upon, the sounds I hear, which I am hearing right now, and every hand that reaches for my own, such as the hand of the people who journey with me, such as the hand of each of you listening here. In you, time disappears because every moment being filled with you is the same, and place becomes a meaningless belief because every place being filled with you is the same. For what surrounds your son, me, Maureen, and keeps him safe is love itself. And please, of course, fill your own name in there. Not time, not place. There is no source but this, and nothing that does not share its holiness, that stands beyond your one creation or without the love which holds all things within itself. Father, your Son is like yourself, and your Son is all of us. We come to you in your own name today. We are not trespassers. We come at your invitation to be at peace within your everlasting love. All that is true. Thank you so much, and now we go into meditation. I am surrounded by the love of God. Thank you so much for joining with me in the meditation. Now we will read Alan Watson's commentary on the What is the Body section, Part 4, Workbook 2, Section 5, Paragraph 2, Sentences 4 through 9. Who could attack and who could be attacked? Who could be victor and who could be his prey? Our identification with the body seems to protect us from love. The insanity of the ego believes that death proves that we are separate, yet in reality, there is only our oneness. If we are one, the lesson asks, who could attack and who could be attacked? Who could be victor and who could be his prey? We believe attack is real, that there are really victims and really murders. If our oneness remains untouched, this simply cannot be. And therefore, such appearances must be illusory, or else the oneness has been destroyed. The horrors of this world are the ego's attempts to demonstrate the destruction of oneness. Death is the ego's demonstration that God's eternal Son can be destroyed. As students of the Holy Spirit, we deny this. We do not deny that within the illusion victims and murders exist. We do not pretend that children have not been blown up with bombs, that genocide is not practiced, that atrocities do not occur, that wars are not going on, that our political system is not a mess, that lives and families and emotional stability are not being shredded all over the world. All this is true within the illusion. What we deny is the entirety of the illusion. We deny that this picture represents the truth. We deny that anything real is threatened. We are aware that what we see is only a dream. We see the dream figures come and go, shift and change, suffer and die. But we are not deceived by what we see. We bear witness to reality, invisible to the body's eyes, but seen by the vision of Christ. The truth is, oneness is. The world, the body, and death all deny this truth. Our task as miracle workers is to deny the denial of the truth. We deny separation, the denial of oneness. We stand with hands outstretched to help, and by our words, our actions, our thoughts, and above all by our love, we demonstrate the truth of eternal oneness. And I thank you so much for joining with me in this lesson today. Lesson 264. I am surrounded by the love of God. Please read the What is the Body section in its entirety today. And I'm going to go ahead and read this other section that Alan Watson wrote, Seeing the Meaning in the Idea for Today. Much of doing the workbook is repeating the idea for the day, the sentence at the top of every lesson. Therefore, if this idea falls flat in our mind, chances are that we will not get much out of that day's practice. We might as well be repeating some phrase in Latin. At least that is how it feels sometimes. The remedy to this is understanding the meaning contained in that brief sentence. This meaning is what makes the practice come alive. The more meaning we see in those words, the more powerful will be the practice of them. This meaning is supplied in large measure by the text study, but also by careful reading of the lesson. After all, most of the lesson's words are teaching about what that idea for the day means. Therefore, we should really read the line of the lesson with an eye for what it says about the meaning of the day's idea. I prefer a kind of mental posture in which I have one eye on the idea for today while the other eye is reading the lesson's teaching. I will read a sentence or paragraph in the lesson and then go back and ask how this relates to the day's idea. This will often give the idea a different meaning than I would have otherwise assumed, as well as a deeper and more multifaceted meaning. In short, it In short, it will make the practice of it more powerful and effective. Let's see this at work in the case of lesson 264 and its accompanying prayer, which provides the teaching for that lesson. And he breaks it down, and it's pretty extensive, so I will go ahead and copy this and include it in my video if anyone is interested. If you do not have this commentary book, it's beautiful. Thank you so much for joining with me. I apologize for the way I'm piecing this together today. I left my books at home, and I always read at lunch for the next day, and quite honestly, I have a lot of reading for the course companions tonight, so I didn't want to keep and not do the lesson until later as well. So I wanted to give it the proper attention that I need to for myself and that it deserves. Thank you so much. I'll try to make it very clear in today's reading. I love you. Have a beautiful day.